All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, anybody that is a football fanatic, we are now live here at JP Football Fanatics, where we are going to give you all my conference championship picks for this coming weekend. And these picks will be happening tonight, and these games will be happening on Sunday and Sunday only. So, without further ado, I just want to go ahead and just say thank you to everybody who tunes in each and every week. I always try to tell you guys as much as I can. I really do appreciate everybody that does tune in. I know we don't always get a whole lot of people in, which is, never the end of the world. But as far as like those kind of things do go, sometimes I get it. Sometimes it's not for everybody. But if you always if you know people who are JP football fanatic fans, or if you know anybody that is a football fanatic, lead them to the channel, and you can have them start by. If you can give me 1 second, because I'm gonna pull it up real quick. So I forgot to actually upload them, but it'll just only take a second. So for anybody that is a football fanatic and would like to tune in for more videos, you could just tell them to hit the like button down below here, and have them also leave a comment down below on the content as well. I know, obviously I get a lot of feedback from some other people that do listen to my stuff every now and I want to try to build it up as best as I can. And I know that I can definitely do that as long as I can have people keep tuning in each and every week. So drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below. Just let me know what you guys want me to do. Obviously I enjoy doing these each and every week. I enjoy doing them with you guys, and I enjoy just being a part of like a true, football fanatic fan. And I love talking football. I love talking sports in general, not just football, but I could also talk with you about wrestling. I could also talk with you a little bit, maybe about basketball or baseball, whatever. But mostly my specialization is mostly in football and wrestling. And for this channel, it's football. So if you do that, please drop a like, leave a comment down below if you would like to see some more content. We will be seeing more content in the near future, but if you would like me to do some more and have me do a video or something that you would like me to talk more about, let me know. Also, too, this is also going to help me out too a lot. I would really appreciate if you guys do this. See that subscribe button? Click on it. Click on the subscribe button here. Make sure that everybody knows about me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. All will be good. As long as you do all of these, I will be able to build the channel to be as good as it possibly can be. And I know we can do it. I know as a family, as football fanatics, we all can do it. So let's try to make it a team effort and help this channel grow to be the best that it possibly can be. So we can get started. We do have one person that is on momentarily, and we don't have any other people that are in right now, but we'll get started, I guess. So we'll get started with the first game that's going on this weekend. And that first game that's going to be happening at 3 o'clock on Sunday is going to be the San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the NFC Championship game. The 49ers and the Eagles. The Eagles in this game are favored by 2.5, as you can see in this graphic here. So let me talk about this matchup a little bit. I kind of was going back and forth a little bit on this one in terms of who I was going to choose, but I'll talk about the synopsis of the game overall, like the preview of the game and what we're probably going to be seeing on paper and how we're going to see it. So let's talk about the 49ers first. Obviously, the 49ers, they've been on a huge winning streak since I want to say like late October, I would say, into early November. So they've won I think it's been like at least 9 straight games they've won, probably even more than that. They're on a huge winning streak. They have not lost a game in like 2 months. They have not lost a game in 2 months in a while. So ever since, really, basically since they acquired Christian McCaffrey in that trade with Carolina, that's basically when the 49ers started to go on this huge streak. So the 49ers on offense, the 49ers on defense. So obviously they're the best defense in the league. They're typically the best in terms of stopping the run, and we all know that. We all saw them do that, within the last several weeks with like run-heavy teams. We saw them do really well against the run against the Cowboys last week, and they were impressive in that. And they were able to get some turnovers from Dak Prescott, which we also talked about. And offensively, doesn't really change a whole lot in terms of offense. I think Brock Purdy, and Jimmy Garoppolo, there's not a huge separation between the two, but I do like Brock Purdy better in this kind of scenario than Jimmy Garoppolo because I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo isn't exactly the greatest, mobile quarterback. He's not that great when he's outside of the pocket. He doesn't throw a deep ball. And whereas Brock Purdy may have similar traits and similar values to Garoppolo, I still believe that Brock Purdy is able to push the ball down the field just a bit more, and he's able to extend plays better than what Jimmy G could do. So that's why I think the Niners are going to continue going with Brock Purdy. I know there's been some rumors that they were going to have Jimmy G try to come back for, if they make the playoffs, they were going to have him try to come back for the Super Bowl if they win this game, which I don't know. I think you kind of just stick with Purdy for the rest of the season the way it is because, this could definitely end their season right here. It could affect their season here, um, you know, or even in the Super Bowl when they either face the Chiefs or the 49 or not 49ers, the Chiefs or the Bengals, depending on who's going to win that game. Well, we'll talk about that game in a second. But the 49ers are loaded from top to bottom. Every single play, every single phase in the 49ers, like special teams, offense, defense, coaching staff, it's all just near perfect. So the 49ers, their biggest issue was quarterback, and I think they found their future quarterback. I think they found the quarterback that's going to take them to the promised land. I think they have a pretty good shot. I'm not going to say they have a excellent shot, but I think they have a pretty good shot of winning this game if Purdy can extend plays. If he doesn't get to a very slow start too, and that's what I'm going to kind of talk about too and touch up a little bit. The Niners have been kind of sluggish lately with these wins. Like, it's nice that they got the win against the Cowboys. It's nice to see them get the win against the Seahawks, but at the same time, though, with those two games, they were kind of sluggish. I mean, Brock Purdy started out slow. The offense started out slow, and they basically were just sluggish. I think they were just sluggish offensively in both of those games. But when Purdy had to turn it on for the team and when the offense had to get it going, they were able to get it going, and they were able to win both of those games based off of that. Now, are they going to be able to do that against the Eagles? Well, let's talk about the Eagles. The Eagles are also loaded from top to bottom, from special teams to offense to defense. This is going to be the toughest test for the Eagles that they're facing this year. And especially for that offensive line for the Eagles, that's probably one of the, if not the best offensive line in this league, going up against that 7 front from the 49ers. It's unbelievable how good this offensive line has been for the Eagles all year and how good this defensive line and this run defense for the 49ers has been this year. It's just been unbelievable. So in that matchup, I think it's going to be pretty tough. I think if they use Miles Sanders and if they use Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell, it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough for the Eagles to run on the ball. Now, as far as running quarterbacks go, obviously Jalen Hurts is one. He's a running quarterback. They probably can have success with Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think they can pass the ball a little bit. I think A.J. Brown will have a pretty good matchup. I think it's pretty beatable for him if he's able to beat the corners at the 49ers. They haven't been I'm not going to say they've been terrible because they really haven't been terrible, the corners for the Niners. But at the same time, I feel like the receivers that the Eagles do have, I think they can put some numbers up there. I think Jalen Hurts can. I think A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I think they all can put up points when they really need to. And that would be something really important for the Eagles to put up if they want to try to win this game. So I think they're going to have to rely on their passing game more than their running game in this one. And like I said, I think Jalen Hurts is going to have success in the running game. I think he can run around and make some plays on his feet because this 49ers defense, in terms of running quarterbacks who they've played this year, like for example Justin Fields out in Chicago, and there was another team they also faced this year too. I think it was the Broncos. They did lose to the Broncos. They did, but Russell Wilson didn't really run a whole lot in that particular game. But I know the Bears was one of them, and Justin Fields, as we all know, is a running quarterback. So that also didn't really exactly help their case whatsoever. And they ended up losing that game. And there was another game too where the Niners were facing Marcus Mariota and the Falcons. That's it. So the Falcons was not really a great game for them either. They struggled to stop Marcus Mariota too, because Mariota, his stats obviously they look impressive in the passing game, but what really helped them, win was obviously based off of Mariota and what he could do outside of the pocket and scramble around and make some plays on his feet. So he was able to get 6 carries for 50 yards in that particular game, and they were able to run a little bit, but they contained Mariota. They didn't really try to push anything too crazy down the field for him, and that's how they were able to beat the Niners, and that was on the ground. And same with the Bears. The Bears in that one, Trey Lance was starting in that game because Trey Lance at the beginning of the year, as we know, was supposed to be the starting quarterback for this team, and that really didn't work out very well. And that's when things ended up going back to Jimmy Garoppolo after the Trey Lance injury. And Justin Fields also had a pretty, not a huge success game, but they did struggle a little bit with Justin Fields in the passing game, not passing, the running game. So this is going to be difficult for them to stop the run. They can do it. I think they'll be able to stop the running quarterback of Jalen Hurts, but it's going to be very, very challenging. And as far as Brock Purdy and how he can do, I think they're going to do the same. I think they're going to do the opposite of what the Eagles are going to do. And I think the 49ers should heavily rely more on Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel to get the ball rolling on the ground versus the passing game, because I feel like with these corners, with this defensive line from the Eagles and how good they've been, uh, I wouldn't want to pass on this Eagles defense. They've been pretty good against the secondary all year. I think the only basic way of how you can beat the Eagles is the running game. I think they're pretty runnable. They should be. I think you should run on them pretty handily for the most part, I would think. So that's something I would probably look into if I was the 49ers. And you're looking at, two head coaches going back and forth. We know Kyle Shanahan is the mastermind of the offense and the defense. We know he's the mastermind of this team. We know Nick Sirianni, who didn't get a whole lot of credit. I don't think he gets as much credit as he does deserve to get for this Eagles team. He has had a lot of good calls this year and for this Eagles team. I thought he's done a really good job with the play calling. I think he's done a good job with getting his teams prepared to go in there and be able to play any team tough. And even the games that they've struggled in, like their wins, like against the Texans was one of them, was a game that should have been a blowout from for the Eagles, or the Colts. They should have blown out the Colts, but I think that secondary and the defense for the Colts also kind of did a good job of containing Hurts, and they probably should have won that game. But the Eagles are a good team. And I'm not saying that just because I don't want to get anybody mad or anything. But I do believe the Eagles are a good team. But I also believe they're also beatable too. And that's just me being genuinely honest. I think the 49ers, I feel like they're a slightly better team. Only the quarterback position for both teams is more favored towards Jalen Hurts. But I'm going to give you all my pick now. I think the 49ers can find a way to upset the Eagles. I really do. I think they can upset the Eagles in dramatic fashion. I think McCaffrey is going to be the heart and soul of this offense for the Niners. I think the defense is also going to play really, really tough. I think they could also play some man coverage and press coverage as well, to try to get a little bit of pressure going for this team too. The maybe force some turnovers for the Eagles, possibly. I think that could also be something to be looking into as well for that. And I also think coaching also is a big difference here too. I know Nick Sirianni. I've said already he's had a good season where he's had a lot of good games being called in his case, and he deserves all that credit. But I think Kyle Shanahan is obviously he's the better coach. I think he's the more of the genius to look into as far as the offense and how the defense rolls. I think he's just going to get it done. I think the coaching staff is going to get it done. I think he's going to outcoach Sirianni, and I think they're also just going to win on defense. I think if anything, I think if the Eagles do lose this game, it's going to be based off of the Christian McCaffrey carrying the ball all the time, or it's also going to be caused by the 49ers defense getting too much pressure on the Eagles. So I'm going to go with I guess you could say, slight upset, but I think these two teams are, in a way, fairly even. But I think the 49ers are the favorite in this one, and I think they win this game in a very, very close fashion. I think they win this game, I would say, probably 27-24. I think 27-24 will be a very close one here. But I probably would take the Eagles at 2.5. I definitely would take the points for the Eagles because I think their offense is one of the best in the league, and I think they can put up some good points and keep this game fairly close. So I will take obviously I'm going to take the Niners to win the straight up, and then I will take the Eagles to cover the spread at 2.5. So that's something that I would kind of look into um, if I'm betting on this game this weekend. So that's where I'm at. That's going to be the NFC Championship. Now let's go over to the AFC Championship game, which is, once again, the Cincinnati Bengals, who are going to, yet again, for the second year in a row, the Kansas City Chiefs. And this time, a little shocked by this, but at the same time, not really. The Chiefs are favored in this game by the Vegas gamblers and by the experts who love Kansas City for whatever reason, and they want to see them win. So the Chiefs are favored by 1.5 points. Very similar to the Eagles, but they're 1 point less than the Eagles. So let's talk about this game. The Bengals last week. What a game they played against the Bills. I don't know if anybody saw that kind of a game going, especially the way that the Bills were kind of playing. Within the last several weeks. Maybe I guess you could say it wasn't that shocking that the Bengals won the way that they did, but they won, and a lot of it was not just because of the offense, but this Bengals defense is pretty tough. I'm not gonna lie. They've been kind of up and down a little bit this year, but I think this is the time of year now where they're starting to play hot. They're at least a top 15 defense. They're a tough defense to play against. I think the defensive line is pretty darn good. I think the linebackers for the Bengals are also really tough to get onto. I think the only biggest thing, too, that I kind of have a little bit of worries on is the passing game on the other side of the ball with number 15 playing. But nonetheless, I think they can also get some pressure on Patrick Mahomes. I think the defense can do that. And I also do believe that there's a good chance, too, where we probably could see some turnovers as well happen in this game. As far as the run goes, I think the Chiefs ran the ball pretty well last week with Pacheco. I thought he ran the ball pretty well on the Jaguars, but the Jaguars, let's kind of be honest. I mean, they've had a nice story and everything this year, but they were a very highly inconsistent team all year this past year, uh, winning some games where they weren't really expected to, and losing games where they were kind of heavily favored in. So maybe that was kind of more expected in that aspect. But the Chiefs are, obviously with Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs on the offensive side of the ball is pretty unstoppable. I think that connection with Travis Kelce, who had a monster game last week against the Jaguars, he had like 14 receptions, and it was absolutely insane with how much he was involved. But that also kind of proves to everybody that Patrick Mahomes, without some elite receiver uh, like Travis Kelce, he's not a receiver really. He's a tight end, but he's a catching receiver, and that's really Mahomes' only target that he can heavily rely on. And Travis Kelce has been able to do that, and he had a lot of success from last week. 14 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. So um, now, do I think the Chiefs could also have some success yet again with this Bengals defense in terms of passing the ball? I think so. I think they're going to pass a little bit. Obviously, they are going to pass. Obviously, they will have some success from here and there. So I don't really see that really being an issue for the Chiefs. Um, but I think more the issue for the Chiefs is going to see more so if Patrick Mahomes can extend plays because of that ankle injury. When he had that ankle injury last week, it took a lot of people's breath away. And Chad Henne came in for a quarter, and Chad Henne played a good quarter of football. It would have been better to see if he would have been able to play a full game, but he played a pretty darn good quarter of football. And I think that's something that you can kind of expect from this team to really do. I think if Patrick Mahomes isn't ready, maybe Cheney would be, not Cheney, probably Henne would be the guy to kind of go for. So he might be able to try to help this team win. But Patrick Mahomes, I think, if he is not 100% healthy and that angle is bothering him and he's not able to extend plays, that also could be an issue too for the Chiefs. So, yeah, I hate to say that there. And then let's get to the defensive side for the Chiefs. They're not very good. Besides Chris Jones, who's a very underrated defensive player and probably should get Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's been very good, or at least be in that conversation for getting it. He probably will have a good shot of getting it. But I will have to say though, he's really their only chance of getting any kind of pressure for the Bengals. The Bengals were out at least 3 linemen last week, and they showed that even without their linemen, they still are able to win games, and they did that against the Bills that played a very, very soft Bills defense. Their defense was not in the game at all and didn't keep them in the game. So the Bengals were able to win that game basically off of all 3 phases, from special teams to offense to defense. And this Bengals offense is, let's face it, they're very, very, very crazy. They're awesome on the offense. Offensive line is still a little suspect. I'm not 100% certain on how they're going to match up against this Chiefs defensive line and their pass rush, because I think their pass rush is pretty good, and probably will get to Joe Burrow, get some sacks here and there. But once Joe Burrow lets go of that ball, it's going to be either Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. It's either going to be them or it's going to be Hayden Hurst. Or if they're not having success with the passing game, they're running the ball. Joe Mixon, Samaj P. Ryan. These guys are going to be doing that. So, just being honest with you, it's hard to stop the Bengals. It's really hard to stop the Bengals, and this Chiefs defense is very susceptible to the pass. They're very susceptible to the run. So you really can beat them in either way. And I know the Chiefs have been 14-3 this year. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC, but they've been very, very, I would say they're a pretty beatable team this year. And the reason why they are really in all of these games, the games that they win, is pretty obvious. It's because of Patrick Mahomes. He's the guy for their team. He's the guy that gets the team going, and that offense, and Andy Reid, who's an offensive minded genius. That's what gets the team. That's what gets this team going. That's what gets them to these wins. But they've not had a lot of success. They haven't had any success with beating Joe Burrow yet. And um, I don't want to get to my pick yet because I don't really want to spoil the surprise. But we also have to think about too, Mahomes. He has not won against Joe Burrow yet. He lost twice last year. He lost in the regular season in Week 17 last year. Then he lost in the AFC Championship from last year, and then he lost early in the year in Cincinnati. And now we're possibly looking at a 4th time where Joe Burrow could give it to Patrick Mahomes and beat him for a 4th straight time. So this is the only quarterback with Patrick Mahomes that he's faced that he has not beaten yet. So that's really, really weird to even think about. I mean, he's beaten all sorts of different quarterbacks in this league. He's beaten Brady at least 3 times. Yeah, he beat him 3 times. 2 times with the Bucks and 1 time with the Patriots. He did beat him at least 3 times. He's beaten. I don't. No, he hasn't played Aaron Rodgers yet. I don't think he's played Aaron Rodgers yet because Aaron Rodgers last year when they played was out due to COVID. So Jordan Love played that game, and then the 3 years, 4 years ago, the year that they won the Super Bowl, I think Mahomes was even out in that game. He wasn't playing because of an injury, and one of their backups played that game. So I can't say he's beaten Aaron Rodgers because he has not played Aaron Rodgers yet. He's beaten the Packers, but he has not beaten Aaron Rodgers yet. So Brady, he's beaten. He's beaten Justin Herbert, but he's also lost him before. Derek Carr. He's beaten Russell Wilson. He beat Russell Wilson twice this year with the Broncos and lost to him once when Russell Wilson was in Seattle. So, yeah, this is the only quarterback that Patrick Mahomes has not beaten in this league yet. He's played every other quarterback. As long as I'm not making a mistake, which I'm pretty sure I'm not, he's beaten every single starting quarterback in this league besides Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the only one he has not beaten yet. So there's a little bit of a cryptic thing going on there, I would say. Like the Bengals are the kryptonite of the Chiefs. So now, what do you think my pick is going to be? Want to do a little bit of drum roll? Want to do a drum roll? Doing a little bit of a quiet one. I'm going with the Bengals. You probably kind of knew where I was kind of gearing towards a little bit, but I am going with the Bengals. And again, if I offend any Chiefs fans, I apologize, but you guys are very beatable. I'm sorry to say it. Joe Burrow, he's going to go 4-0. I can definitely see him going 4-0 against Patrick Mahomes of all time. Because of why? Not just because of how good this offense is for the Bengals and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins being there as receivers, and that's pretty tough to match up with. But you got to give the credit where credit is due. You got to give it to the Bengals defense. Their defense is pretty darn good. They're going to get some kind of pressure on Mahomes a little bit, maybe force some turnovers here and there. They might be able to stop a little bit of the run too, but they're going to have a game plan ready to go. I think if anything, the way that the Bengals are going to win is because of Joe Burrow, and I think defense they can stop it. I think the defense is obviously way better than the Chiefs, and I also think the offense for the Bengals is also better. I think they're just there's just a bit of mismatch in between, and obviously the obvious mismatch is going to come from the Bengals side where their offense is just explosive, and the Chiefs don't have any corners to cover them. So that's why I'm going with that. I'm going with the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I want to see Joe Burrow succeed. I want him to actually win a Super Bowl this year. I know last year they came up just short against the Rams, but the Rams are not in it this year. They weren't even close to being in the playoffs at all this year. This is a new year, new team. Actually, kind of similar team to what they were last year. I think they go back to the Super Bowl, and I think they're going to get their revenge. They're hungry. I think they get the very first franchise Super Bowl in franchise history. I really do. Whether if they play the Eagles, whether if they play the 49ers, the Bengals can beat either one of them. Especially the Niners, they can definitely beat. And if they do face the Niners, that would be the third time in NFL history that the Cincinnati Bengals will face the 49ers in the Super Bowl. And they lost to them twice. So that would be kind of funny to see. I think they can beat the 49ers. It would be tough, but I think they could do it. And my man Joe Burrow, he will get the game going. So I'm taking the Bengals. I'll take the Bengals to win. And as far as the Chiefs spread at 1.5, I probably would take the 1.5 for the Bengals, plus 1.5 for the Bengals, I would say. I think the Bengals, like I said, I think they're better on both sides of the ball. A little bit questionable about the quarterback. I think they're both pretty, back to back. They're neck and neck kind of there, though, too. Just different styles of quarterback play. I think Joe Burrow is better in the pocket than Patrick Mahomes is, but Patrick Mahomes may not exactly be 100% healthy in this game. That's going to be the biggest difference maker. And if he does end up getting hurt in this game or gets benched because of, poor play because of the injury, Chad Henne may not have enough juice to get the team to where they need to be, especially against this really good defense of the Bengals. So, yeah, so I'm going to take the Bengals. I'll take the Bengals to win. I take them to the spread at plus 1.5. I really do. So we might be seeing a Bengals 49ers Super Bowl. That's what I'm calling it right now. And that's how this is going to conclude with the video saying thank you all to everybody that tuned into this live stream tonight. Thank you so much for doing so. If you have not done so already, please do me a favor, drop a like on this video. Leave a comment down below. You see the comment button down below? Make sure you comment on it, guys. You want to see more content? You want me to post new content? You want me to talk more about football? You want me to talk about different issues that's going on in the NFL? Let me know. I want to hear about it. I want to know what you guys want me to give my opinion on. I'm very open to ideas, and I want to help the channel grow to be the best that it possibly can. Also, if you're not done so already, too, tell your friends, tell your family members, anybody that's a football fanatic. See this symbol right here? See the little graphic that's right here in the center of the screen? Hit the subscribe button, please. Hit the notification bell, please. Anytime I post new content, whether if I'm going live, whether if I'm doing a pre-recorded video, you guys will be in tune for every single time that I am live or I post new content. And I know you guys don't want to miss out on that because I know you guys like to hear me talk so much. And you want to hear all about my different opinions on football and each and every team in the NFL and what have you. So, subscribe, like, comment, do what you got to do. Help this channel grow to be the best that it possibly could be. Remember, we all can do it. And with that being said, everybody, thank you so much again for tuning in tonight. I know this is kind of a shorter video than I normally do. I don't normally do a long video like this. I don't do a short video like this that often, which is kind of, it's kind of nice that I'm able to get this within around the half-hour time frame. But I enjoyed it, and I've been enjoying doing these each and every week. So thank you, everybody, again for tuning in. Just be on the lookout for tomorrow. Look at my Facebook, look at my Instagram. I might be having another podcast tomorrow. I should be, but it'll be later on Saturday night. It'll be late Saturday night. I'm going to have my buddy come on with me, my buddy Scott. He's going to come on with me, and we're going to talk about some stuff, and we're going to be talking about some coaching changes too. We might be talking about Frank Reich. We might actually talk about two different coaching hirings that's happened already in this offseason. So we'll be talking about Frank Reich getting hired to be the Panthers head coach. And then we'll also be talking about Bill O'Brien being the new offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots as well. So it'll be like a two topic combined into one. And that should be really interesting to really see. So make sure you're in tune for that. So everybody, with that all being said, this is JP Football Fanatic saying peace, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you, everybody.